Today, February 16th, this is a TTB After Dark, episode 17. Got some stuff that just dropped. Real quick, this is, if y'all don't know, my name is Taryn the Black. Been doing this for over a year and a half or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I do a little news here and there. But there's some news just dropped with Disney, man. I literally just walked in the door, clicked on X, and I saw this the first thing. So apparently they got a new cartoon called Captain Durag. So I don't know if this is true. I don't know if this is just them playing around, somebody roasting, but hey, here we go.
You just gonna stand there all day like a bunch of soggy laundry? Help a brother out. A little flipping. Hold all the laundry tight. You gotta dip in. Then put these out of sight. When you're training to defeat the clutter, you need to whip it right. Let me introduce myself.
Captain Durag, bringing superhero funk. Captain Durag, cleaning up that evil junk. If you're out there doing wrong and you hear this funky song, watch out for Durag. He eats red guys for lunch. Flip it, dip it, whip it.
I think I'm getting the hang of this.
Me too, AJ. I feel like a new rabbit. I usually only feel that way on my birthday, you know.
Whip it, dip it, whip it.
There's more where that came from, super duper AJ.
Then let me at it. I feel like a lean, mean, cleaning machine. Flip it. Move the laundry in its place. Then you dip it and put these toys away. It's easy to defeat the clutter when you whip it up this way. Let's groove and clean it up.
Captain Durag, bringing superhero funk. Captain Durag, cleaning up that evil junk. If you're out there doing wrong and you hear this funky song, watch out for Durag. He eats red guys for lunch. Flip it, whip it, whip it. Ah!
This can't be real. Or if this is real, boy. Hold up. Let me go back. This gotta be a prank. This has gotta be a prank. Man. I gotta see if it's real. Yo. I gotta check this out to make sure this is real or not. Hold on. I gotta check this out. Oh shit. It's called Hey AJ. It's an episode off of Hey AJ. This is real. Oh shit, this is real. They got it. All right. This is hilarious. So this is off AJ on Disney Junior. It's on episode 8 of Hey AJ. Let me see. Okay. I'm not gonna be on TikTok, but yeah, that's legit real. Oh, that's hilarious. So let me repeat. A CB3, you ain't gonna believe this. This is actually.
You just gonna stand there all day like a bunch of soggy laundry? Help a brother out. A little flipping. Hold all the laundry tight. You gotta dip in. Then put these out of sight. When you're training to defeat the.
So this is not Captain Durag's show. This is actually off of Hey AJ. It's on Disney Junior. So yeah, it's kind of crazy having. But hey, look, I don't think on the bright side. With how Disney been getting down, at least he looked like he's straight. You know what I'm saying? He looked like he actually a masculine man. So salute to that. Let's praise the small things. Like usually they've been making us look look kind of crazy, you know what I'm saying? But Captain Durag is crazy. Yeah, Captain Durag. That's on Hey AJ. I gotta have to watch this episode, man, because my wife got Disney. I ain't really rocking with Disney Plus like that, although I did watch Wonder Man. Wonder Man was pretty good, actually, in my opinion, as in a good origin show. But yeah, Captain Durag is crazy. Yeah, that's insane. That is insane, man. But yeah, that actually exists. This is a real episode on a real show. Hey AJ, episode 8. So yeah. I don't know what to really think about. It's hilarious, but I'm not mad about it because knowing knowing Disney, they would have made. I mean, shit, Disney 2 years ago. Shit, he would have had a Rambo do-rag on. His name been Twan or some shit. No offense to any Twans. But yeah. All right, gotta get the Jordan news. This is crazy. So if y'all don't know, let me do this. If y'all don't know, like Jordan team won. I forgot who actually won it. I didn't watch Daytona 500, man. I'm haven't really been big on NASCAR for years, man. I've been out of the loop since Dale Earnhardt Jr. And them retired and everything. I'm more of a F1 Indy guy personally. I watch a little bit of Le Mans every now and when Le Mans come on, and I like the GT stuff because that's the type of time I'm on, especially like the Nürburgring and all that stuff. But NASCAR, like his team won the NASCAR. I don't know who was the driver. Don't quote me on that. Let me see. All right. So this drop and people trying to cancel my MJ. All right. This is first of all, we have to establish some things, put everything in context, right? We are in a hyper sensitive climate when it comes to the celebrities with anybody underage and anything like that, just because of the Epstein, the Diddy stuff, the everything going on with celebrities and everything. So like the list coming out, I'm gonna get on more of that. What's going on? All that stuff coming out. It's this is probably bad timing on Jordan part. I haven't heard anything crazy when it comes to anything with Jordan on the list. Matter of fact, the weirdest thing about the Epstein list is that there's a lack of sports figures that's considered that's been like hidden up on the island and stuff. Like I don't see too many sports names on the list. Yeah, it was just off of time in CB3. I agree with that. The worst timing. Like this is like, but Jordan, I never heard Jordan even in that type of limelight. And plus, people like Jordan got a lot of haters when it comes to in NASCAR itself because like there's a lot of people that just don't like the drivers Jordan have out there. Like I think, matter of fact, I forgot that dude's name. He had a controversy when he thought like the little string to roll down the garage door. He was saying it was like a noose, and he made a big deal. Had FBI looking at it and everything. So yeah, NASCAR being in kind of a bad situation as of late, and a lot of people blame like the Jordan drivers for that. Which people, you got the element in NASCAR because NASCAR, like shit, man, like come on, who was a big Bubba Wallace. Yeah, Bubba Wallace. See, I'm not like that, and Bubba Wallace, he blew that out of proportion, man. Like, is there any type of situation where they might think something of Jordan, Bubba Wallace or whatever? It might have elements. It might, you might have crew people there here and there, but like, damn, dude, you blew that out of proportion. And like, it was right on the heels of the George Floyd stuff and all that, all that stuff going on. Everybody was like really trying to cancel anybody who they were trying to tear down statues, all kinds of crazy shit. So NASCAR reacted so hard, and then that kind of killed the it kind of killed the the fan base. The fan base kind of got played out on that. But again, like, full context, I had a co-worker that was a big NASCAR fan, right? This even before 2020, the whole 2020 thing. He because like the cars they had they were getting slower and heavily regulated. And then it was a big push for the green initiative on race cars, which in that fan base, people like, you have to understand, this is American-made muscle we're talking about. So like, people brand recognition, like, I have family that's most of my family work at GM, and like, they were big. They had like we were rocking the NASCAR jackets at one point in time, man. Like, especially in Dallas Fort Worth area, everybody was rocking them like the NASCAR jacket, like the Chevrolet, the Cadillac car, and all that type of shit, right? Ford car, they were rocking that. That was part of the scene here back in the Gap. So like, when they start going green and start trying to regulate the cars so much, man, it lost a lot of fan base. Then on that Bubba Wallace situation killed. So a lot of people are looking at the Jordan brand in NASCAR. They looking at it weird. So people are overblowing this, especially after this whole Epstein and Diddy and all that stuff. I think Jordan just had bad timing. And man, it's hard for me to believe Jordan on that type of time, man, because though, like, all the Jordan haters, they would have been said something about that, man. So I just think, man, off of timing, people are oversensitive. We don't have enough information to count. I'm not willing to cancel Jordan anyway, just because I'm almost on the time where, unless you doing like Diddy, I could after I saw what he did to he did, oh man, why am I gonna go on blank? After what he did to Cassie and his MO all together, I'm ready to I'm like, man, hey, Diddy, you got to sit this one out. Sit a couple of years, get your shit together. I'm on that type of time with Diddy. But with like anybody else, man, like, you're gonna have to have a whole bunch of, because like, why we always have to cancel our especially black men, why we always gotta cancel them? Because they do, it gotta be egregious. It gotta be, we gotta find out he got a whole farm full of kids. He just run, doing some crazy too. God forbid he's, I don't want you to put that out there on like that. But like, it gotta be something crazy to be like, all right, yeah, I'm done wearing Jordans. You know what I mean? And this is I think it's just bad timing, and he'll make it through on this. But like, damn, dude, you can't even, if you're a celebrity now, like, it was a time where celebrities couldn't hug women. Like, Keanu Reeves had like a famous photo where he wouldn't hug a woman fully, like do a side hug, right? Because of Me Too. You almost kind of gotta be a recluse and not even celebrate. They don't even want you celebrating with kids or anybody around right now, because like, people are ready to destroy anybody that got more money than them. It's just the way it is right now. It's sad, and it's actually scary, because like, where does this go? Like, it's gonna be regular people get caught up in this that don't have nothing to do with any of the Epstein stuff. It's just gonna be somebody that's jealous of somebody eating right, and we see it on YouTube all the time. So I think, in conclusion on this, right, I think people blowing this out of proportion. You know what I mean? Let's talk about some more Epstein stuff. This is gonna be funny. So Uncle Luke, they trying to get Uncle Luke, man, up in this Epstein stuff, man. And I want to play this. I don't think anybody done played this special. I'm surprised KB ain't played this, man. This came in my feed on Friday. I was like, man, this had me cracking up. So if y'all don't know who the Krasstein brothers do not like Trump. They are on this, they trying to get Trump on this Epstein stuff so hard. They don't want the main purveyors of keeping that narrative alive. So here's and here I'll read this. Breaking audio recording of rapper Uncle Luke talking about a party he went to at Mar-a-Lago. A lot of women ain't of age, so when you have a whole bunch of these women running around, whether you know if they are age or not, you know there is a lot of things going on. Some women look too young. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Talking about it's time to ban Trump. So this is Uncle Luke responding to this.
Let me get into this Luke going to Trump party controversy that all of a sudden hit the wire today. Before I get into the rest of the show, this Uncle Luke going to Donald Trump and seeing drugs and seeing people underage and all that and everything. Number one, let me just say this. I voted for Kamala Harris. I supported Kamala Harris. Bullets. I'm a Democrat. That's number two. Number three, I don't lie on people at all. I don't lie, period. When I went to Donald Trump, when Donald Trump invited me, Mike Tyson, along with Eddie Murphy, we rode up there. Trump invited us. Donald Trump was a Democrat at the time. To be honest with you, I didn't even know what his party affiliation was. I just knew that Donald Trump had nice, cool parties. And to be invited to a billionaire house in West Palm Beach, Mar-a-Lago, which was a cool thing. He hung out with all the other rapper executives and all the other black executives, did fights. He had a USFL football team and all that cool thing. So the man was also mentioned in maybe 1,500 rap records where every rapper from New York glorified him. You see what I'm saying? This was Trump. You hang out with Trump, was a cool dude. Trump always had beautiful people hanging around him. Did I see anybody taking drugs? No, I did not see anybody taking drugs. Did I see underage girls running around? No, I did not see underage girls running around. That man ain't did nothing but be a host, just like any other host. Okay? I don't like what the fuck he got going on in America right now today, but am I gonna sit up here and lie about what the fuck was going on over there?
Two Live Crew rap star from the early 1990s, Uncle Luke. He talks about going to a Mar-a-Lago party. He left right away. He thought he was going to get extorted because the girls all looked underage, or a lot of them looked so young, he said, that he had to get the hell out of there, because, using his words, because he didn't want anything to do with what he was seeing there. He said that there was sex and underage girls, and this is what he observed, and he wanted to get the hell out of there.
Yeah. See, the problem with the left today, and probably a lot of people in this Epstein thing, using this Epstein as thing just for fucking trying to destroy people, man. And like Uncle Luke don't have no reason. He didn't support Trump. He don't support Trump right now. You know what I mean? If he's coming out and say, hey man, they didn't go down like y'all saying it went down. Y'all lying on my name, y'all lying, I'm not gonna separate a lie like that. If he's saying that, that's a telltale sign. Ain't nothing like that going down, right? Like they trying to put it. So yeah, man. Like shout out to Luke, man. I mean, Luke didn't have to do that. Luke could have jumped on a little party and make it look like shit. He was on that type of time. He could have really lied on that man. chose not to, man. Like that took some balls right there. Pause. I ain't gonna read on that type of time, but you know. I'm trying to find, it's another story I'm trying to find. Yeah. Okay. All right. Got some more stuff. So this is some more Epstein stuff. Let's see. Shout out to Promethean Action, man. Hey, follow this lady. This lady be on it. For real. Let's see what you gotta say. For 16 minutes.
On Saturday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio blew the lid off of a 50-year-old conspiracy. He said that the destruction of the American economy was deliberate.
Deindustrialization was not inevitable. It was a conscious policy choice, a decades-long economic undertaking that stripped our nations of their wealth, of their productive capacity, and of their independence.
He's right. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't market forces. It was a plan written down 50 years ago, and today we're going to give you the receipts. Now, you've seen the reports about the U.S.-European face-off at Munich, how the globalists marched a lineup of failing European leaders and American has-beens and wannabes onto the stage to challenge President Trump. But even the pro-MAGA coverage of Marco Rubio's powerful speech missed the bombshell that the deindustrialization was deliberate. Now, we didn't miss it.
Makes you think a little bit about the Epstein thing, because if you go look at like his own words from the Vlad interview, such did Nick, not Nick, and God damn, I forgot the name, but like Bannon, when Steve Bannon had, which is crazy, which is eerie that he did the interview. Here's my theory. I think Epstein was pretty much an op to get people that's part of industry. It's industry is part of people that's the up and coming industry that's not going to be easily controlled throughout anything else other than them doing they dirt and getting them to do their dirt in his own sanctioned operations part, right? To have blackmail stuff on them, because like I said, like if you put a nerd that all he been doing from yay high was work tinkering. What's up, Phoenix? What's up, Selena? Tinkering with PC parts and don't even know women that way, and happen to get look up and get a wife, but not necessarily going out there sowing their raw oats, as I said, like an athlete and like a person that's more akin to like social gatherings and everything, right? You put them in a position of now you got attractive women, you think it's women. You could train a 16, 17-year-old chick to act like they're 22. Like you could literally just put them on game, have them interact with the same type of stuff a 22-year-old would be. And like somebody don't know women like that, they'll fall victim to it every time. Like that's to me that's a big honeypot situation. They go and party with these young girls, not thinking they think they're 22 or whatever. These girls fucking around real. In some cases, they probably know they're young, but like Epstein said, "Oh no, I got you, man. Hey, you hook me up, I got you. It's gonna be secure. It's gonna be this. It's gonna be that. All that bullshit there, the rigmarole." So now, going with this bombshell that just dropped with Rubio saying with how they're destroying the industrial rate, because it was one point in time, right? If you had a good factory job, you can literally, if you make 50 grand, you can literally raise 2 kids and a wife and a dog, and have a house with a white picket fence. So how did we get from, all right, if you got two $50,000 a year jobs, you barely able to get a house? That got to be deliberate. So let's figure out what she's saying and everything about this.
because we were there in 1977 when the Council on Foreign Relations announced their plan to do it, when they called for, quote, the controlled disintegration of the world economy, unquote. I'm Susan Kokinda, and I was part of the team that exposed that report 50 years ago. So when I heard these words come out of Marco Rubio's mouth, I knew that what we were seeing is the most significant challenge to British imperial policy in modern American history. Now, if this is a fight you want to follow, please hit those like, share, and subscribe buttons so we can stay in touch and we can expand our reach. Here's what I'm going to cover today. First, what Rubio actually said and the panicked reaction from the Europeans who were at the same conference. Second, the 1977 CFR report that laid out the deliberate destruction of sovereign economies, precisely the destruction that Marco Rubio talked about. And third, how Trumponomics is reviving real economic sovereignty. So let's start with what Secretary of State Rubio laid out at Munich.
In this delusion, we embraced a dogmatic vision of free and unfettered trade, even as some nations protected their economies and subsidized their companies to systematically undercut ours, shuttering our plants, resulting in large parts of our societies being deindustrialized, shipping millions of working and middle-class jobs overseas, and handing control of our critical supply chains to both adversaries and rivals. Deindustrialization was not inevitable. It was a conscious policy choice, a decades-long economic undertaking that stripped our nations of their wealth, of their productive capacity, and of their independence. It was a foolish but voluntary transformation of our economy that left us dependent on others for our needs and dangerously vulnerable to crisis.
Let a few of those phrases sink in.
That's crazy.
A conscious policy choice, a voluntary transformation of our economy. Actually, it wasn't so voluntary, but I'll get to that in a minute.
All right.
Now, here's what makes this speech so extraordinary. Rubio wasn't speaking into a vacuum. In her Saturday brief, Barbara reviewed the collection of warmongers and anti-Trumpers who filled that room in Munich. And she reported on the fact that the theme of the entire conference was, quote, under destruction. And it was a full-on attack of Trump's policies in specific and on the concept of national sovereignty in general. But lurking between the lines of the conference report and speeches is this reality. The globalists are no longer in control of the current world dynamic. The conference report says that economic uncertainty is nearly 3 times higher than it was during the 2008.
So if translate, economic uncertainty means they're not in control. That's whenever any mass media somebody say economic uncertainty, that means they can't control what's actually going on. Like they can't make no report to just raise the oil prices because like we pumping oil, so it's gonna be hard to do that. They're gonna have to do drastic steps to actually get control again. So we have to watch out for that. That's what that's translated as.
Financial crisis. Why? We don't have banks crashing like in 2008, at least not yet. That economic uncertainty comes from the fact that Donald Trump and his team have declared that the 50-year-old post-industrial model is over. Now, reflecting the recognition that the jig is up, European Central Bank head Christine Lagarde titled her speech, Preparing for Geoeconomic Fragmentation. And in it, she... All
right, before we get to that, here's the thing y'all gotta understand about Europe. Like we had a migrant crisis pretty much in the last like 2020 to 2024. They've been having one since 2016, right? And the people they let in is out birthing them like 2 to 1 or something, 2 to 4 to 1 or something crazy. So the Europe we know as your basic Europe is not going to be the same by 2030. So when Trump doing a lot of this stuff economically and putting these tariffs out, it's it's one of them pre attacks to what's going to end up taking control of that political apparatus in the 2030s, 2040s, and on. So that's just, that's basically why he's doing like the terrorists and everything like that, like to make an understanding you have to look at what's going on with why allies, what we have right now, what's happening. Like when it comes, like I did on Nerds, talk about like how Australia and Great Britain doing a lot of little censorship movements and everything like that. That's for a reason, because they know they don't have control, because they about to lose control over like the political power of that country, and they want to keep people in the dark as long as possible, just because of the influx of people. The birth rate is crazy. I mean, it's a whole bunch of things. Like, it's a reason why it's a big push for like the gender wars and stuff like that. They want black men and black women don't get along, and they want other races not to get along when it comes to like the gender balance and everything. It's a reason for that, because as long as we are dividing stuff, like they could keep on doing what they're doing when it comes to the migrant stuff and everything like that. Because like you're a household, yeah, you're gonna be thinking about protecting the household. It goes all across the board. Like this is not what I'm talking about. Is not like necessarily just one aspect of the world. It's all over the world. This is why they're saying geoeconomic fragmentation.
Warned that a more assertive industrial policy is causing a rise in geopolitical tension and more frequent financial market stress. Now, translated, that means we have to now live in a world that is being reshaped by an assertive American industrial policy, and we who represent the global financier elite are no longer controlling the table. Lagarde signaled that new reality when she warned about the fragility of the European financial system. She said, we must avoid a situation where that stress triggers fire sales of euro-denominated securities in global funding markets, which could hamper the transmission of our monetary policy. Fire sales of euro-denominated securities. Is somebody getting a little nervous? Then she said that the European Central Bank will be expanding its repo facility to bail out bad euro-denominated securities. Why? Because for decades, the Federal Reserve had backstopped European financial markets. Yep. That's over, and the U.S. is no longer the lender of last resort for the gambling casino run by the City of London. Now, here's a good reason for you to subscribe to Promethean Action's free newsletter. We've been documenting statements by Treasury Secretary Bessent and the new Fed Chair nominee Kevin Warsh, where they've made clear that America's new economic priorities are the physical economy and household incomes, not saving the financial bacon of the international banks. So head on over to our website. The link is in the description. But the fragility of European financial markets is just part of the picture. The real story is that Europe is destroying itself physically. A few days before Munich, the Prime Minister of Belgium delivered a stark message to the European Industry Summit in Antwerp.
Over the past 4 years, announced closures in the European chemical industry increased sixfold, representing a loss of almost 10% of the European chemical production capacity. In countries like ours, Germany, the Netherlands, and France, the situation is simply dramatic. We are at the brink of an existential crisis.
Now, where does that existential crisis that he references come from? Here's the killer punch.
The decarbonization of Europe will become synonymous with its deindustrialization.
Oh, man.
And eventually with its poverty and its irrelevance.
All right. Translate. Green New Deal caused that. That's what that's translating. The Paris Accords caused that. And you add that to the migrant crisis they engineered. And if y'all you're talking about follow Rome's type of situation. And if y'all don't know what I'm saying, follow Rome, you go look at the history of how Rome fell. It didn't like the Germans who came and took it over, the German tribes who came and took it over, they necessarily became more Roman than the actual Romans at the time. They because the actual Romans were fighting amongst themselves, and it was getting influenced by the Greek, the Eastern Roman Empire and stuff. They were competing with them. They were fighting amongst themselves and everything. in the German, they had a policy in Rome where, like, I forgot the policy called, where basically a son, if you were a chief in a Germanic tribe, a son or two had to be held ransom. So they end up becoming very Roman. It was a way to keep the peace and everything. So when the kids come back, they are preserving Roman culture, and they bringing that culture to Germany. So if you go look back at after the Rome fell and everything, and then like how Germans always up to damn 1930s, and like when Adolf and them, they was consider themselves like the heir apparent to the Roman Empire. That's how they look themselves. So yeah, that's what's possibly going to happen if you did. If people don't have jobs, if you bring these people in and it's abject poverty and everything, sooner or later somebody going to wise up. And this is when you get to Antichrist. You go look at Nostradamus. This is when you get to Antichrist situation. Somebody gonna rise up and it's gonna make sense to a large number of people, and then there you go. You got the situation at hand. It's scary. It's a scary situation right here.
There's that word again, deindustrialization. The Belgian Prime Minister is saying the same thing that Marco Rubio said at Munich and that Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said at Davos. The globalist system of free trade and green insanity is a failure, and it has gutted the industrial base of the nations that succumb to it. Now, Rubio called it a conscious policy choice. That's the polite version. In 1977, the Council on Foreign Relations spelled it out in much blunter terms. They called it controlled disintegration. Mm-hmm. And when you hear what they wrote, you'll understand that everything happening in Europe right now and what was happening in the United States was the intended outcome. Now, before we get into the
So you have to understand too, in 1977, that might be the weakest point America was since the founding, right? And the reason I'm saying that, you had Carter in there, you had the Malays, you had that. Honestly, I mean, that's how you had the embargoes happening. You had a lot of stuff like Project Paperclip was exposed. There was a whole bunch of things getting exposed at that time. You had spies everywhere in our CIA and FBI and stuff. It was a lot of stuff going on during that time. So, and that's when I think the Soviets was doing a lot of they were doing a lot of different type of espionage where you had like the whole frog in the boiling water approach to our country, because they know, like, compared to 1917 Russia with the Tsar and stuff, it was harder to convert people that's happy into communism. You have to have control. You have to have control situations where, okay, they play on part of like the Civil Rights Act. They play a part of the I don't know, like the hippie movement or whatnot, and little stuff. Then just we have to make our situation slowly but surely just unbearable. And that was the way they could get us to convert ourselves. Because it's not like if we have a king and like half of us don't have, like majority of us don't have rights unless you're a part of the nobility class and everything, and that varies, and you at the all the oaths you gotta take and all this stuff. You can't really be your own man type shit. That's easier for a communist to go and subvert that. But it's harder when, okay, we could be political, but we could go and still make our money here and be happy, be relatively happy. Even with the civil rights situation, right? In some places, like Black people was eating, even when we weren't supposed to be eating. Like we were eating, making money, having land, doing well, being self-sustaining and everything, even during the heart of Jim Crow. So like a lot of people was like, yeah, it's cool, y'all doing, but like, hey, we eating right here, we good. We just don't want to be best when we had to go to a certain town or this and that. It was just one of those, hey, if you could eliminate the situation when it comes to like just getting treated fucked up if we part of, like, for example, like the whole like you're a football player and you going to the combine. I forgot that story with the Syracuse. I forgot that dude, he died of cancer. I forgot his name. But yeah, we want to leave. And a lot of that, the segregation part, the whole color only, water fan stuff, and a lot of that got challenged through the business community. People don't know that. Like the business community was like, hey, I don't have to do this up north. Why am I doing this down here? I'm spending too much money appearing to these laws. So they was challenging stuff way more than just your average Joe. Cause like your average Joe, if you grew up in it, you're gonna be like, all right, well, I just know not to rock with them. They don't want me here. You know what I'm saying? Until it became untenable. And like, you know, your Selmas and stuff like that, and you know, Rosa Parks and everything. But yeah, a lot of this stuff just been placed here because it was a game plan from the Soviets. Because I mean, everybody was fighting they were fighting the Cold War their way. We were fighting the Cold War our way. We were outproducing them and better producing them. It's better. And they just did the infiltrate way like we see today.
1977 report itself. Let me give you a little historical refresher, especially for those of you who might be new to this channel. After the assassination of William McKinley, the last American system president at the turn of the 20th century, the British Empire launched a project to return the United States to the imperial fold. Part of that project was the founding of the CFR in 1922 as the American arm of the British Round Table. But despite decades of subversion, the United States hung on to some semblance of economic sovereignty and industrial development until the 1970s. That's when the CFR launched their 1980s project, which produced a series of blueprints for destroying modern industrial society.
Yep.
One of them was entitled Alternatives to Monetary Disorder, and it let it all hang out. Here's what it said. A degree of controlled disintegration in the world economy is a legitimate objective for the 1980s, and may be the most realistic one for a moderate international economic order.
So that tells me something about, like, with Reagan. Like, if you go look at Reaganomics and everything, all that shit pretty much worked. But what we talk about with Reagan, we talk about three things. Your libertarians gonna bring up your libertarian, your probably your red pill cat will talk about no fault divorces, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing. In the 1986, I think Brady Bill, I think that's Brady Bill when it comes to the you know, Second Amendment to guns and stuff. Like, those are two things but like in the black community, everybody blame Reagan for bringing crack in the thing. So what that was designed to do, because you have to understand, like, with administrations, especially when you deal with like you're dealing with, you know, strained geopolitical situations, you're gonna have people go rogue and do things. You're gonna have people you know, and then with all the economic progress that happened on that time, which actually helped out Clinton, Bush Senior and Clinton, like all that stuff happened. Only thing we're gonna remember about Reagan was the crack epidemic when it comes to the black community, you know, and that's all by design. So it's they always gotta like I said, to destroy the world economics. You know, they need us to be of edge. We gotta always be like. Always thinking about race, always thinking about gender, always thinking about, it's all part of that play, you know what I mean? So we don't actually see what's going on, how to really make, you know, survive in this situation. It's all play, man.
Let that sink in. Controlled disintegration, a legitimate objective to achieve their moderate international economic order. Now, when you hear the words moderate international economic order, translate that into the current terms of rules-based order and liberal free trade system, which the Davos and the Munich crowd are trying to save. And the CFR knew exactly what tradition they were dismantling. They cited Alexander Hamilton by name.
Yep.
Here's how the CFR described the ideas which oppose their system. They were eloquently addressed by Hamilton in his Report on Manufactures of 1790, in which he expressed the opposition of American nationalists to their country's assuming the role of a raw materials exporter to Britain. Nationalists feared and opposed two aspects of this role: the tying of American economic development to the British economy and the growing dependence on Britain for goods vital to national defense.
Beat them in a war. Why would
Let that sink in.
Yeah.
The British.
So you just beat them in a war. You want to be, but you got people that's making materials, want to keep getting stuff from the British Empire. That doesn't make sense. Like at that time, the British was a key enemy for the longest.
Empire has always known that its mortal enemy is the American system. And back in 1977, they called for the controlled disintegration of the world economy to stop it. Now, the mainstream will tell you this is a conspiracy theory, but here it is in black and white, and it's what you have been living through for the last 50 years. And that is what Secretary of State Rubio called out at Munich when he said deindustrialization was a conscious decision. It's why we lost manufacturing in our middle and our working class, and we hollowed out our economy and our society.
Right.
Europe is still doing it, but the Trump administration has rejected those policies. And by the way, that's why most of us voted for him. So what do these new policies look like in practice? Has President Trump just cobbled together a series of ad hoc policies to try to staunch the economic bleeding? Or do we actually have an administration which knows what the real fight is? Well, look at Trade Ambassador Greer's speech at Davos, entitled "The Hamiltonian Economic System That Too Many Have Forgotten." This is the first time since the CFR declared war on the Hamiltonian system that a high-ranking administration official has defended it. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent summarized administration policy with this statement: "Economic security is national security. A country does not have sovereignty if we don't have control of our critical minerals, our steel production, and our industrial base."
And to add that goes into play on getting rid of Maduro like they did and going after Greenland, because like you want to. Trump plan is to get control of anything vital to making our making our system work. Because here's the thing, like Maduro was playing both sides. Well, he was playing a lot of sides. Like the Europeans was really making a lot of money. Like if you want to keep all these migrants in the situation they in, keeping them in poverty and everything, Maduro's cocaine, like the cocaine distribution from there, that's the easiest way to keep a lot of people downtrodden. Because like you own that, you less likely gonna get a job, you less likely gonna be productive member of society. Then they can manipulate and control that population, through they all about human control if you get down to it. There you go.
In other words, the end of controlled disintegration. And everything this administration is doing, from tariffs to government support for critical sectors of the economy to bringing $17 trillion in investment into the United States, is the American system in action. Now, here is a remarkable example of how this works. Yesterday, Energy Secretary Chris Wright spoke at a press conference with officials from Valor Atomics.
One of President Trump's boldest proclamations was that this is America. We can build things, we can innovate, we can do things in this country. And in fact, he set out a very bold goal. This is just 12 months ago. He said by the 250th anniversary of our Declaration of Independence, meaning July 4 of this year, we're going to have multiple nuclear reactors critical. People thought that was crazy. 15 months away. We built 2 reactors in 40 or 50 years, yet we're going to have 3 reactors critical by July 4. Today is history. A multi-megawatt next-generation nuclear power plant is loaded in the C-17 behind us. We're going to fly it to Utah today, and it will be critical, running all of its nuclear systems by July 4 of this year.
This is amazing what they've done in a short few months. This is the American system, the partnership of the federal government and private industry to get the job done. And it's not just industry. This administration is going directly after the financial oligarchy, which profited from 50 years of controlled disintegration. This week, White House advisor Peter Navarro went on national television and called Jamie Dimon, the CEO of the biggest bank, JP Morgan in America, an SOB.
Jamie, I'm talking to you right.
Here's another thing. Diamond, I think he on the Epstein files too, by the way. Just give me FYI.
Right now, you, SOB, are the biggest beneficiary of interest rates on credit cards that are up to 30%. You, Jamie, the company you own is the biggest beneficiary. So you come out and act like, oh, you're acting in the public interest, and people don't look behind the hood. That guy is a usurious thief that's hurting the American people. He should shut up until those things come down. We don't need his advice.
Now, what's the issue?
You know what's funny? Where all these people complain about Trump, if you look at every business they run, they are all collectively bringing more stress onto the middle class of America, right? And then when you add all that stress, it trickles down from like older parents to new parents to kids, and it builds up the pharmaceutical situation because like everybody you gotta get your drugs when you're stressed out. You know what I mean? It's not work through that. Let's not go, go work out or do something productive. You gotta get drugs because you gotta keep on. You got a problem. You know what I mean? You gotta go and do it. And then like if something go wrong, let's say they so drugged up, then they say they go do something dramatic like a certain event at a school or whatnot. Now you want to blame the Second Amendment. So it's almost like they're the biggest people contributing to the stress of the American people. But then they crying because now you got somebody in there that's trying to take away, trying to get things back in order. Because like if you notice, you didn't hear about school shootings prior to 1977. You know what I mean? Yeah, you probably had riots and everything like that because there was another op going on when it comes to like, situations when it comes to like the civil rights movement, the hippie movement, and stuff like that. A lot of infiltration and stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, like even this has been an ongoing thing. Like you didn't have school shootings like that. Even with all the gun, like you gotta think about it, in the 60s, everybody had something. Like legit, like you could have a gun rack in your truck, go to school, and nobody think nothing of it because like you probably gonna go hunt after that. But I mean, even as early as like even the 90s, like you still had that in some places or whatever. Like it done got so bad, and this is part of the destruction of the middle class, destruction of our economy that pushes that stress level so up, pushed on all fronts and everything, right? So like, I believe you could actually make a case of blaming the people that run those industries of causing this. That the ones that's complaining right now, causing all the situations we had when it comes to racial relations as of late. When it comes to gender relations, when it comes to everything, really. I mean, I hate to be the one to be blaming the billionaires because I'm necessarily not. I don't think all billionaires are part of that. But I think those complaining about Trump, they definitely part of that. I'm not gonna sit up there and be dumb and not acknowledge that.
The Trump administration is demanding the banks lower interest rates on credit cards from the 20 to 30% range where they are down to 10%. Jamie Dimon's response, it would be an economic disaster. Did you catch that? He's admitting the entire consumer credit system depends on gouging you.
And here's the thing though, right? How's that economic disaster let's say you did lower the interest rates throughout the whole system, even when high risk people, right? All right. If people have more money to pay off those and stuff, I don't get the logic now. I don't have to see what they trying to say, because that logic doesn't make sense. Like more people gonna have more money to constantly spend, constantly bring more money back to you, or they're better yet, they probably won't even use the credit card as much, knowing like for emergency, they'll be more responsible about it. I don't know. I'm spitballing here.
That's the financial model that the CFR's controlled disintegration was designed to protect. And now the White House is telling them it's over. Trump isn't just talking about reversing deindustrialization. He's doing it on every front: trade policy, industrial policy, massive flows of investment into critical sectors, both public and private. This is the most comprehensive challenge to the post-1977 controlled disintegration in modern American history. And Marco Rubio's speech at Munich made that clear. This administration knows that deindustrialization was a conscious policy, and now we are embarked on the opposite: reindustrialization, and with it, a society that actually works. The Munich conference was not just a confrontation between the Americans and the Europeans. It was a confrontation between two systems: the imperial system of deliberate controlled disintegration, laid out in 1977, and the American system of economic development. Europe is still clinging to the former, although there's some pushback from countries like Belgium. The Trump administration has consciously chosen the American system and is inviting other nations to join in this rebirth of the fundamental values of Western civilization. This is working. The American system is being restored. But the architects of controlled disintegration aren't going to give up. They're banking on the midterm elections less than 9 months away to stop it.
If you notice, there's a big push of making everybody upset. Want to be upset about ICE. Look, I'm like, I said this on here, like, if people out here scamming, get them up out of here. People out here breaking the law, especially when they here illegally anyway, get them up out of here. You know what I'm saying? I don't see any issue with that, because like if I broke the law right now, that nobody will bat an eye if I went to jail. Let's call it for what it is. You know, I'd just be another nigga in the penitentiary. Call it for this is 100. So yeah, they want to make you upset right now, man. And I got what? Two more things. Let's go. So this is Michigan State Majority Leader Mike Shirkey supposed to January 6th. Like a lot of people talk about January 6th and stuff. Like, just look at how that whole thing played. It didn't look like. I'm telling you right now. And this is just common sense here. This is not me knowing any inside knowledge or anything. If the right wanted to do the worst thing on January 6th, if they're on that type of time, with the amount of guns people on the right have, that could have been a real situation if they were on that type of time. See, what hurts this narrative about January 6th, right, is that you have to suspend common sense. You have to think about. You have to be like, oh, yeah, well, yeah, it was the worst thing. You gotta think like that, which makes no sense when you really know who you're dealing with. Like, number one, the right doesn't protest. Number two, when most people in the right, a lot of them are veterans. They have an understanding of military tactics, the whole nine, and that's why, like, that was so unusual how that went down. You had to have bad actors, because if the right was really on that type of time, that thing would have went way different. That could have went way different. And the thing is, when you have people, you got infiltrators in like movements, you have to watch out joining movements and everything, man. Cause like you have infiltrators. Matter of fact, speaking of that, if you go look at how January 6th went down, right? Some people got let in, some people was doing extra stuff. It was a whole bunch of stuff going on. Then you turn around, you go research Woodstock 99 on how that went down. Like, and look at the George, like some of the riots, how they were starting the riots and the George Floyd thing and Ferguson, all this stuff. It's a scripted way they doing things, how they agitate people. They usually busting people in. Like even up there in Minnesota, right? I ain't gonna say right now because I think they pretty settled down now. I don't know. I haven't really seen a lot about that. They probably, police is actually doing their job up there now. But like even when you see like these people come, you see, I mean, there's a whole Reddit full of folks showing like the Umbrella Man and this person, like these professional. I did a thing about that Black Panther that was supposed to be like a West Side Paru dude. Then he get kicked out. He just started doing his own little thing, and then the Panthers caught wind on him and kicked him out. Told him not to use anything, so he started his own thing. So yeah, like you got those type of cats out here, man. That's paid protesters. So make you think, man. Like how many people are paid to do a lot of this stuff? So hey, let's get to this slight bombshell, which is kind of obvious.
Why wasn't there more security in there?
Yeah, there was 30 guards out back there.
It was ridiculous. It was all staged.
You think it was DC, the mayor influenced?
I think she was just up.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of high.
How does that?
Hell, Mitch McConnell was part of it.
I was going to say.
He was the one that was part of the decision making how much security they have on stage. I think they wanted to have a mess.
I know they wanted to. There's no other explanation.
The moment, like.
But they wouldn't have had a mess with you guys. They had to have also recruited this other group of people. And then I do believe, because I don't know if you guys have been caught up in it. When you're in mobs, you can get caught up in emotion.
Oh yeah, I will tell you go.
You can get caught up in emotion.
Especially when you're getting tear gas and
So
such.
some of those folks probably just got caught up in the emotion of it.
Well, they had a guy with a loudspeaker up on that tower. There was a tower in there, everything in the back. And there was a dude on a loudspeaker hanging everybody on, telling everybody what to do. Like, reinforce this side, reinforce that side. Like, they're going through over here. Like, it was definitely something to behold.
I'm sure it was fantastic to watch. Fantastic.
Yeah,
like,
it was
unbelievable.
really interesting. Yeah.
It was
I'm glad I was there.
It was a surreal moment.
Yeah.
So
I said on my little couch, tears came down my eyes. I couldn't believe it.
because I didn't see someone get arrested. I didn't see anybody punch a cop. I didn't see a cop punch a person.
I want somebody to tell me why that guy shot that woman.
Exactly.
I want an answer.
What did she do to get shot?
She was breaking through a window, but
But in every other barrier, when people started to break through the barrier, they just got out of the way and let them go.
Yep.
Why in that one case with that one person who never showed his face, or they never showed it on camera?
also there was a lot of people behind her. How reckless is it to shoot?
And I would hope
It was a
She was hot.
Yeah, like I said, then they showed a whole bunch of had like a 5-hour video they showed unredacted of how like the police were letting a lot of people in and everything. That whole January 6th thing was weird. Like, and then they're arresting journalists, they're arresting everybody in there. They didn't even discriminate against that. If you was in DC and you had like you was pro-Trump and had like a social media presence, they were coming to holler at you. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. And like, that whole thing's still weird to me. Like they got caught up in that shit. So man, I got another video that dropped about 2 hours ago. I don't know this AI now. I'm not going to inform you. I don't know this AI. What's called post this. So I don't know, man. This look weird.
There we go. Oh wow, that looks so tasty. I got something right here. Oh, I got you. Perfect. Wait.
Oh, hey guys, what's up?
Hanging out.
I like they doing the bid, man. All right, let's see. Now been fed by 3 men in the new person. Wow. Bullshit show 30th birthday. Okay. It's just, yeah. They doing a bid. That look weird though. But hey, that's a bit, man. Yeah. And I don't leave at this, man. This is a little bit off subject, but I just saw this. I thought it was interesting. And after this, I'm going. I gotta go give me something to eat and take a shower. So I did. I just came from the gym right before this. Hey, Phoenix. Right before this. But yeah, that shit was weird. But I think that was just a skit. So this man breaks down how the man that invented American chattel slavery. I think this is interesting. Let's see what he got to say.
A black guy named Anthony Johnson. Anthony Johnson came to the United States in 1621. Came in from England as a free black. And head rights in those days says anybody coming to the country can get 640 acres free right off the bat. Then plus you can get another 500 to 600 acres for every slave that you own. He immediately went and had 13 blacks. So within a few years, about 15 years, he was one of the richest blacks in the colonies. Now, going up to 1638, he had all kinds of land and a whole bunch of slaves, getting close to about 70, 80 slaves now. And a white guy went over to one of his plantations, and one of the black slaves there, named John Castor, says, why am I a slave here with this guy? He says, he owns me for life. And the white fellow who was a plantation owner also said, look, he doesn't own you for life. Indentured servantship normally runs 5 or 7 years. What do you mean he's got you for life? This black guy said, I've been working for this black slave plantation owner for almost 27 years. The guy said, well, just run off and leave. Forget about him. You don't have to keep working for him. So the black slave, John Castor, ran off. Anthony Johnson then went to court, and he sued the white plantation owner who had encouraged the black to run off. And the court accepted Anthony Johnson's claim against this black slave, saying that he owned that slave for life. Now, what happened there never had ever happened on the history of the earth to black folk and in this country, where all of a sudden a person laid claims against an individual for the rest of his entire naked life. And it was a black man. And once that court decision was made, whites picked it up. That became the enslavement code, both explicitly and implicitly. And all the states began to enact it then, based on Anthony Johnson's ruling in court that he owns another black person for life.
The ghetto gospel.
That's interesting. That's crazy. So yeah, like sometimes we gotta acknowledge our fuck ups, man, so we can be better people in general. I'm talking about my black brothers and sisters, man. Like sometimes we could be that story just crazy. So that's proof, like, oh, man, I don't even want to go there. It just, man. I don't know, man. That just that hit different. So yeah, like I said, we gotta do better. We gotta know our history, man. Cause basically, like my whole process, like people want to bring up slavery and everything, right? If we don't acknowledge, hey, somebody on our own did that, and you know, hey, I don't know. I'm actually. I didn't know about the Anthony Johnson story, man. Like I said, there's a lot of black history they keep away from us, and that's by design. So, yeah. I think I'm done for the night, man. That hits different. I'm done for the night. Y'all like, share, subscribe. You know, leave a comment, man. Appreciate everybody showing up. Venus, Selena, CB3. I don't know. Let's see. Anybody else that came up there and say, you know, shout out to everybody, man. Y'all take care. Peace.